Side tonight, counting down to Election Day. We have just 6 weeks before voters head to the polls to decide our next president. Also on the ballot this year, the race for governor here in North Carolina. New polling tonight from Elon University shows Democrat Josh Stein leading Republican Mark Robinson by double digits here. And this survey was taken before last week's bombshell investigation from CNN. The poll finds Stein leading Robinson 49 to 35%. Again, 14-point lead tonight. Now, the race for president in North Carolina, that is a different story, with the candidates essentially tied right now. Vice President Kamala Harris at 46%, former President Donald Trump at 45%, obviously within the margin of error. In recent days, there has been a push to get a certain demographic to cast their ballot. We're talking about black men. Many are concerned about their absence during Election Day. According to the Board of Elections, there were just over 61,000 black voters in Mecklenburg County during the last general election. Roughly 40% were black men. The community now coming together to figure out what's keeping black men from going to the ballot box. There was a barbershop talk last night at No Grease Barbershop, and our Dedrick Russell led the conversation. It's tonight's cover story.
Both presidential candidates have said they want to reach black male voters. They believe if black men show up to the polls in big numbers, it could help lead them to victory. Pew Research shows black men are slipping at the polls. Numbers show black men make up a smaller percentage of overall men who vote.
When you hear those numbers, it's scary. And I think, just to be real, if you continue to vote for a certain party over year, and you're in the same situation, you start questioning yourself, like, is this really going to be helpful? So I think we have to do a better job at the local level, educating.
Other black men agree more education is needed.
And that was one of the things you always heard in the barbershop. I don't vote because it doesn't affect me, or it's not going to matter anyway if I vote or if I don't vote. And what you have to do is make it make sense to those kind of voters.
The black men claim to help it make sense, politicians need to cut out confusing talking points and what they call political mumbo jumbo.
Speak to black men like they need to be spoken to, respectfully.
It's being real and not being, I guess, playing politics. That's how you get the black man's vote.
Recent elections show reproductive rights motivated women to flood the polls. So I asked, what's the topic that will help drive black men to the polls? The panelists say sharing an economic plan that will resonate with black men.
We got to talk about the bag. We got to talk about getting to the money for black men. We could talk about education, we could talk about crime, we could talk about health, we could talk about a lot of different things. But I believe if we get that economic thing in order, we'll deal with our own education, we'll deal with our own criminal situation, and we'll deal with our own health.
A hand up, not a handout.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what black men want.
After this conversation, black men say they will do more to educate other black men and continue the work they are already doing.
I go and talk to a lot of young black men. We do canvassing all the time, and they're not aware of certain things. There are certain times where your voter registration may get purged. I was doing some canvassing, and the guy was about to cut his grass. "Oh, I voted last time, I'm good." I said, "Have you checked?" So I pulled up the website on the spot. Inactive.
Engaging younger black men is also part of the assignment. Bobby Forrest is 17 years old and talks how politics translates to Gen Z.
Our attention completely split. We got YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, this, that, and the third. We don't have a central source where we can get all our information. And when we do get our information, we're overwhelmed by it in its entirety.
But this teenager believes better days are ahead for his generation.
I think we're going to be the catalyst of a new generation of change and empowerment and power.
Arthur Griffin says he hopes so. The Mecklenburg County Commissioner first voted back in 1971. He says back then, people were embarrassed not to vote. So I asked what happened between then and now.
We got gentrified, okay? And we thought somebody else would take care of it for us. We have to go back to each one reach one.
At No Grease Barbershop, Dedrick Russell, WBTV, on your side tonight.
Great conversation. Dedrick, thank you. Let's talk about our weather again.